Please. I'm calling the meeting to order. Okay, welcome everybody. This is a regular board meeting of the Canton Town Board. It is Wednesday, June 12th at 6 p.m. Because we have some visitors, the board has agreed that we can move public comment to the top of the agenda. You're more than welcome to stay for the rest of what's on the agenda. But feel free to leave as well, okay? So for public comment, we ask that you stand up, identify yourself and allow for 3 minutes of what you need to say. It is a time for us to listen. It's not a back and forth at this time. So with that being said, I think, Heidi, are you passing around a sign-in sheet as well so that we have names properly spelled? Excellent. With that being said, is there any public comment?
Are we in regards to the Minor Street Road?
Anything you want to say about anything?
No. Town business within reason.
That has to do with town business, please.
Well, here, my name is Brenda Preston. Paul and I live on Minor Street Road. We're actually caught between our neighbors, the cemetery and Tommy Woodside. And appreciate the road being redone and so forth, and with the path. Our concern is there's talk of narrowing the road for the traffic, but my concern is the top of the hill. Once you get to the top of the hill by the cemetery and they have a nice paved road, cars are already going super fast. Like sometimes you can't even identify the make or the license plate or any of that. So that is my concern. I appreciate the town looking at it and working to revamp the road. I think it's a great idea to have access for people who can get off the road because it's also used very heavily by St. Lawrence runners and so forth. And some years back, there was somebody that was actually killed on the road, which doesn't have anything to do with this. But I guess our concern is the speed. I know it's gonna have to be monitored because currently it's 30 right now, which is awesome, all the way up to the Jingleville Road. But traffic is not slowing down. And right now, like we have to slow down as we crest the hill at the top of the cemetery by the Russells because the road is in such bad shape, which it does need to be redone and stuff. That's our concern. We think it's really good. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Brenda. Other public comment?
I think the reason some of us are here is the guy that went to see us isn't here.
He's coming.
And what's your name, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Bill
okay.
Russell.
Hi, Bill.
But I think majority of us are here because of, Mr. McKenna. He's not here. So that's why I showed up. To go along to what he's saying. His main concern, and I talked to David, his main concern is David wants to narrow the 5-foot extension on both sides to 3 feet. His concern is that his wounded warriors that are in wheelchairs aren't going to have enough room for the wheelchair. David can explain this more about the width and slope.
You mean
and-
Steve?
Or Steve, I'm sorry, what am I saying, David? Steve. He can explain about the slope and all that, yes, but that's why I'm here. Mr. McKenna came to the house, talk about him narrowing the width. So, and I agree with this lady also on the speed. You're not, at 2 o'clock in the morning, the minute they hit that top of that hill, 60 miles an hour. right down past her house, right to Taylor Park, and then they slow down. I don't know what you're gonna do. When we had that meeting a year ago, I forget who was running around, preaching this, he said, well, call the cops. The cops aren't gonna stay there all the time, they may show up for 10, 15 minutes and leave. The minute people see the cops are gone, they'll speed up, so I don't know what you can do, speed bump. Somebody suggested one of those 30-mile-an-hour lights. That's not gonna make any difference, because people are gonna use that light to see how fast they can go down the road. You know, am I right?
You're right.
Yep.
So I don't know what you can do about that. I said that when you revamped Minor Street, all you did was make that into a speedway. That's what you're doing, is making that into a speedway. I don't know what you can do. I have no answer for that. But that's why I'm here, is because of the width, and Mr. McKenna isn't here, so I don't know what he's gonna say. So that's all I gotta say.
Thank you.
I don't know what you can do. I really don't, you know. But his main concern that we were going to go from 5 foot on each side to 3 foot. His wheelchairs weren't gonna be able to go to it. And the Wounded Warriors do use the kayak ramp, which you guys put in, which was, you know, very good. But most Wounded Warriors aren't going to be using a wheelchair to go down there. They're gonna bring their own kayaks, they're gonna drive their own vehicles, so I don't know what the answer is. I'm just here to go along to see what he had to say, and he's not here, so I'm gonna keep it.
Well, we appreciate your input.
Okay, here it
Thank
is.
you.
Here it is.
Other public comment.
Finally.
Hello, Helen. Oh, okay, go ahead. Stand right up, Sally.
Sally Broman, 187 Minor Street Road. I have a sense that we're never gonna make everybody happy with the decision on how wide to make the road. But I remember talking with Mark a short while ago, Mark McKenna, that he had come across documents on the initial permit for and study of the Minor Street paving project that advocated 30 feet, meaning 10 feet on either side, going south and north, and then 5 on one side, 5 on the other. That's 30 feet, not 26 that we talked about the last time we had the meeting here. And I was talking with a woman named Rebecca Stone. She's at 154 Minor. And she said that in Vancouver, they have a coastline sidewalk for bicycles. And what they have done, because of the individual preferences to have it 10 feet, 4 feet, 3 feet, 1 foot, whatever, that there are ways to accommodate individual needs. I know Bill Russell and Sandy have a special need because they're close to the road. Larry and Diana Goulden have a special need. And I can't remember who I was talking with today, who said that you can accommodate a road by having a sign. The road can just narrow, a sign, pathway narrows to get around his property and the Goulden property. That's no big deal. But 3 feet is not, I'm not very big, but 3 feet is even small for me. 3 foot width is not good for me, and for the Wounded Warriors, it's not good for them either. But I think we can work out a compromise here.
Thank you, Sally.
Barb Rogers, I live at 989 Minor Street Road, and I'm sorry I arrived late, and perhaps I already missed a couple of points, but my suggestion was with the 26 feet, if there's no way to expand it further, since it's illegal to ride a bicycle facing traffic or to walk with traffic, perhaps we could divide it into 10, 10, and 6 with two-way, specially marked two-way traffic in the pedestrian bike lane. Make it a sidewalk, stipulate that it's a sidewalk. I've already talked to Steve a little about this. Is there a way to get around the illegality of going the wrong way if you're a pedestrian or a bicyclist by making it a sidewalk where people can go any direction? And secondly, I would love to see a speed camera on Minor Street Road, not just at Taylor Park and that vicinity, but all along Minor Street Road. I live way at the other end and cars really do race. I mean, everything you've heard about cars going too fast is an understatement. Cars really fly. So thank you.
Thank you, Barb. Other public comment?
I've got some, I may go beyond my time, I apologize, but, I called a couple of board members and they never returned my call, so I may take time to answer, so, but,
Can you identify yourself, please?
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm Mark McKenna, live on Court Street. I grew up here all my life. I, used to ride my bike to Taylor Park. I'm concerned, I'm a civil engineer. I have over 40 years' experience in design, build roads, bridges, and buildings. 20 in the private sector, 20 in the Corps of Engineers. And I've lived here most of my life. Now, most of you know I coach a Wounded Warrior Sud hockey team, but I also do the adaptive canoes and kayaks and wheelchair lacrosse. And 2 years ago, we put in the ADA adaptive canoe kayak launch. We raised $50,000 and put it in at Taylor Park. And I also volunteer in the recreation committee. So my guys and gals want to recreate. I'm going to use this path from the village and stay in the Bend River Park and travel on this path to Taylor Park. Now, wheelchair width is 29 to 32 inches wide, and our motorized action track wheelchair, which is right here, wheelchair with tracks, is 43 inches wide. And so I need all that 5 feet, or a minimum of 4 feet. And this action track chair is adjustable, so going up a hill, it'll adjust to the hill. And 4 feet will do it, it's 48 inches, so maybe we could compromise, but you know, I talked to a couple residents on Minor Street, and a couple of them asked me to look into this project a few weeks ago. And I was at that November 2022 meeting, and I was concerned 2 weeks ago when I read that the highway superintendent wanted to reduce the paving width from 5 feet, 10 feet, 10 feet, 5 feet, a total of 30, down to 26 foot wide, 3 foot, 10 foot, 10 foot, and 3 foot. I saw that in the country now. Now I want to go back to some research. And there's history on this project. 1982, a young lady, Susan Ferguson, 19, from St. Lawrence, was killed on this road. In 2017, a scope of work was done by Terry Billings, the highway superintendent. He did a road and drainage improvement estimate for a 5 foot paved shoulder for pedestrian bicycle on each side of the road, and including drainage improvements for an estimated amount of $276,000. And the work was to be done by the town. In June 2018, Canton Master Trails Plan, which explained about accessibility, pedestrian and bike trails to Taylor Park, recommended in that report 4 feet as a minimum, but the ideal path was 5 to 6 feet. That's on page 7. And they spent thousands of dollars on that study. 2020, the town of Canton developed an RFP to hire Brooks Washburn to do a Minor Street study, the preliminary plans. Not for construction, the plans are dated October 25th, 2020, with the 5 foot, 10 foot, 10 foot, and 5 foot lanes. The town applied and received a grant from the New York Department of State for the $276,000. Now, in that November 2022 public hearing, Brooks Washburn and Aaron Jarvis from Tisdale talked about the paths and the drainage issues along the road, but they only had the preliminary set. And I asked the question to Tisdale, are you designing the culverts for a 25-year storm or 50-year storm? He couldn't answer me, so I'm just gonna double the size. That tells me he didn't know his hydrology. So May 17th, 2023, Tisdale came up with a design for drainage in the 5 foot subgrade, crushed stone on each side of the road, along with the drainage ditches, catch basins, and culverts. Now, last summer, for fall, the town subcontracted the work to J.E. Sheehan and built it per the plan. And I asked what the estimate was or what the contractor bid was. I got nothing. Then I asked you, Mary Ann, who was a program manager and who was a clerk of the works. He told me Steve's a clerk of the works. But I never got who the program manager was. Was that you, project manager on that job, or that somebody else from Tisdale?
Again, we're here to listen to you,
Okay,
Mark.
okay, okay. And I asked Steve, is there any change orders?
Sally asked that you speak louder.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I asked Steve, was there any change orders? Because what I have on the plans from what they got from Brooks, Tisdale drawings, what I have in the plans does not match what's out in the field. So there's obviously been some changes and some change orders. And I want to know who authorized those changes. Okay, concerns. Now, if there's any changes made on these drawings, the only changes can be made by a licensed architect or licensed engineer that can alter these drawings. It's New York State education law. We still have drainage issues out there, because I walked it 2 weeks ago and I talked to the residents that have drainage problems. And I met with Mr. Brooks Washburn at the end of May. He gave me his preliminary plans and gave me Tisdale drawings because he knew what I was coming from because I asked him for my soldiers. And he appreciated the professional, and I appreciated the professional courtesy. I told him I was gonna foil the town anyway to get them. So I walked the site, made my own as-built, talked to the residents. Notice on the plans of Tisdale didn't have any easements for the work outside of the right of way. Like Gouland's property, they put an 8-inch underdrain right across his property, no easements. Also, they used, Mr. Woodside's property for a staging area, but he was kind enough and gave, J.E. Sheen permission to use that. So, yes, I painted the road, shoot me, okay, but you're gonna mill the road, okay, and the paint will fade. And a lot of people wanna know where the center line of the right of way was in relationship to the center of the road, because it doesn't match up. That road varies from 6 inches to 34 inches to 5 feet to 10 feet off from the center line of right of way. So, and also when I showed the residents the plan, it's the first time they've seen the plans. So I don't know what's up with that, but so I heard that another engineering firm was asked to look at these drawings from Tisdale. So I called them up to see if I get their plans. They said, we don't have the plans yet because they gave the town a proposal to evaluate the drainage issues from Tisdale, and they haven't heard back from the town. And that was a call yesterday. Now, I know Steve argued about the setback. The only setback for 3 foot is only for sidewalks. And as per New York State DOT Highway Design Manual criteria, dated November 22, paragraph 2.6.2, a lane width for rural roads with high speed or higher volumes on a low speed rural road with 4 cycling distance. Cyclists can be accommodated to 4 feet to 5 feet minimum with a shoulder or minimum bike lane of 5 feet. And I asked Steve, did they have a paving plan? She said, they're working on it. And I said, well, Tisdale told me that the town and the county are gonna pave the road. And who gave me the authority to pave the road? Well, the residents did. They want to know where stuff was, and it'll pave. So I looked up your March meeting minutes. The superintendent of highways had paving projects listed in here. You have Minor Street Road with dimensions 20 feet by 7,200. Total cost of $304,000. So that's a cost of $2.11 per square foot. So down below, you know, the other streets, you had Minor Street path, no dimensions, but I got a cost of $42,920. So I took 43,000, divided by roughly $1. I don't know if you're gonna give me 3 inches of binder, or you're gonna give me an inch of top on that shoulder. Because most cases, when you pave a road, 3 inches of binder, 1.5 inches of top, 12 inches of crushed stone down below for your subgrade. So I figured $1 square foot divided 43,000 by 7,200. That gives me 6 foot. There's your 3 foot for each side. Imagine that, but no consulting with the residents on how wide that road should be. And you need to, if you're walking, you need to at least 4 feet or 5 feet. If you're walking 2 abreast, or if you're walking and a cyclist comes by, and my guys need it for the wheelchair. So, now, so the original approved plans right here called for 10 foot total width. Now you're gonna reduce it to 6. That's a difference of 4 feet. So the town not paying 4 feet times 7,200, 28,800 times $2.11. That's over $60,000. So where's that money going? Is it going back to the town and the state? Was the Department of State notified of this change? I'm sure they want to know where the money's been spent. I, as a taxpayer, want to know where the money's going. I also see the town meeting minutes, you're milling Minor Street. Where are the millings going? There's a dollar value assessed to the millings. Are they gonna recycle it back and put it in the binder? There's a cost savings there. And what's the savings? Is that can be passed back on to the town and the state? So I've got a lot of questions. Now, there's a process and procedure, and the public, residents of Minor Street, need to be heard and involved. And this is the second public hearing. The town has made a decision without consulting the public. This is the democracy, not dictatorship. And also, I wanted to ask the highway super, do you have a stormwater pollution prevention plan as required by New York State DEC for construction projects disturbing more than 1 acre of land? The project is 1.65 acres, and there are penalties for non-compliance. And do you have a certified SWIP inspector? Do you have a notice of termination? Because you have not established more than 80% grass cover out there. You still have erosion on the side banks of Mr. Woodside and erosion on the side banks of Mr. Russell's property. And the new culvert outflow is still silted in. These are all violations of the SWIP. Now, we have one chance to make this right. If we put this on pause, go back to the original scope and look at Terry's estimate. He had 6 foot wide crushed stone sub base and 5 foot asphalt shoulders. You need that extra 6 inches to a foot on the shoulder, so the shoulder doesn't blow out. So who from the town approved Tisdale's drawings? Did not catch that from the original scope of work. Their drawings, their details show crushed stone stopping at 5 feet, same as the asphalt width. But these drawings on Tisdale don't show the asphalt pavement. Why? So we need to pause and reevaluate. We need geotextile on the bottom, 12 inches of crushed stone, 3 inches of binder, 1.5 inches of top course on the road, and take that. And we should also, the specs should state that, and perhaps a third party like Atlantic Testing come in and take 6 inches diameter cores at random intervals to ensure that we're getting the full depth everywhere. Because some screed operators like to cheat on the shoulders and only give you 1 inch. So maybe we go with 4 feet, 6 inches wide shoulders or 4 foot wide shoulders as a compromise. We'll let the residents on Minor Street decide. Also, I have some suggestions for Steve and the guys. Now, the catch basin in front of Drew and Guyette, the top of frame is 6 to 8 inches higher than the bottom of ditch or invert. The catch basin with the culvert tied into Golden's property, catch basin next to driveway, that area floods and will freeze in the wintertime, become a skating rink. That's at station 31 plus 71. I recommend you install a 36-inch diameter culvert approximately 50 feet south of that 30-mile-an-hour speed limit sign at station 26 plus 85. That's halfway up the hill of the cemetery. That outfall is going to go into a ravine in Mr. Russell's property. It's wooded. He will give us permission. I talked to him earlier, but you need to get an easement for him to work on his property. The drainage problem on Mr. Woodside, he added that catch basin on the north end of the culvert and regraded the ditch to a shallower depth. That's at station 3608. It wasn't done on the 31st on Mr. Woodside, but last week or this past, last Wednesday, it was taken care of. Also, you need to clean the silt and erosion out from outfall 20 to 24-inch culvert on the west side and install a flat gate so the water from the creek won't back up into his yard. That's at station 36 plus 87. Speed problems. Lower the speed limit from 30 to 20. That's from table 2, the sign speeds for low volume. Road conditions, road recreational level, 30 miles an hour. Rolling terrains, 20 miles per hour. That's from New York State Low Volume Design Guide. Install speed bumps, install speed cameras, which I mentioned to Marion earlier. And I have a couple of recommendations to you, a couple of companies. There's Traffic Logic, there's Guardian Pro Speed Radar Camera, that's at 16,000. And there's Victronics, and there's the contact information. And I want to submit that to them.
You can hand it right to the clerk.
That's all I got. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mark. Other public comment?
Yeah, I like to, Bill Russell again. I like to say one thing, and she knows just as much as I know. Certain people keep bringing up that girl that got killed on Minor Street. That road had nothing to do, or the width or anything, had anything to do with that accident. That was a boy that was trying to play grab ass on a girl, got too close to her, took her leg off and killed her. Coming from a party in Woodmere. So you keep saying that, somebody else said that, and your letter about the whole. Starting this, when you sent the original letter out for a thing, you brought that girl's accident up. That accident, that road had nothing to do with that accident.
No, I agree with you, Brenda Preston again. The thing too, we, out in front of our house, we had a natural speed bump. Which doesn't really help. In fact, a few years back, there was a car that was going so fast, he was in the Guyette's ditch. We found the fender, and I mean, speed is a big issue, and we have wildlife. Plus, it scares me to think that we're gonna have people in wheelchairs on that road if the speed is not monitored. We've had good luck with Steve. There's been some confusion. I know we had a gentleman that came back this past fall or past summer. The drone that they originally used to scope out the whole area, they didn't pick up a lot of the water issues. Like we had a culvert that Terry put in at the end of our property right next to Tommy's that never was picked up on the original stuff. So I think there's a lot of mismatch, and I think as a community, we can make this work. Yeah, for the better of
But
everybody.
it does sound like some of the engineering and things, just watching, I'm not an engineer, but just watching some of the stuff that was going in culverts. A couple feet down into the ground, I mean, some stuff they had to do because that's the way the plans were written,
Right.
but they didn't make sense. I guess I kind of wonder about the engineering of it. The town's been really good about trying to help us, at least us, helping out Brenda and I, with some issues we've had, but it just looked to me like I just wonder how well this was planned out. And, and a little more, we would have liked to know a little bit more about it, but it's our fault because we haven't been really paying attention until recently here.
Right.
So,
And your first name is?
it's Paul Preston.
Okay, all right, thank you. Other public comment?
I have one thing to say, living in the middle
Oh.
of Minor Street, Linda Casterly.
And you need to speak up, because I
Yes.
couldn't even hear what you were just saying.
Okay, well, we live in the middle of Minor Street Road. After 4 o'clock, when people are getting out of work, they are going 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. on the road. The sheriff said, is it the sheriffs or the state troopers that were supposed to be out there monitoring this? Because there was
Sure.
one out there one night, and then he put his whistle on and went after the guy and ticketed him. But there are grandchildren biking down to Taylor Park. And I used to let my children bike down there. I could never let grandchildren bike down there. So those are the two concerns. They go 70 miles an hour. I mean, and then they tailgate me, and then I pull over because I want them to go past me.
A lot of tailgating going on these days,
Well,
not just
there-
on Minor Street.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know, but it just,
Yeah.
could the sheriffs be there sometimes? Really? Is it sheriffs or state troopers? Yeah,
It's
One
either
guy-
the sheriffs or the state troopers
one
that would
car I've
be the
seen
law
out there.
enforcement out there, but again.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
okay,
but thank you for hearing me. Did I
Okay.
talk loud enough?
did you hear her? Okay, so,
Oh, I'll talk louder.
Louder when you do your part, please.
okay.
Oh. But I gotta do it.
Other public comment?
And take just a moment. There were some athletes who were interested in this problem, and they agreed to sign a petition which recognizes the original specs of the grant proposal and the widths out there. So I'd like to submit this set of signatures from concerned athletes who
I just want to,
who signed that in the spirit of the Stillman Foot Running Club
oh,
and the wintertime series of races.
I'm gonna ask that you read the top line.
Oh,
What the
sure.
purpose of the petition
Yeah.
is.
The petition summary says, complete the rebuilding of Minor Street Road with enhanced safety features. The final road surface and supporting features are equal in importance to the preparation work already accomplished. We, the undersigned participants in the various Stillman Foot races in Canton, are concerned that Minor Street Road is used by many types of transportation, motorized and non-motorized, including pedestrians, runners, etc. We request the continuance of the speed limit at 30 miles per hour on this approximately 1 mile long section of the road from the Grass River Bridge to Taylor Park, and the maintenance of the 40-mile speed limit thereafter. We also petitioned for the completion of repaving Grass River Bridge to Taylor Park with 10-foot driving lanes and 5-foot shoulders. Center line and fog line striping must be done and maintained. New informational signage is required.
I think that's
Okay,
great.
so we'll hand that down to the clerk, please. Thank you. Other public comment?
So wait, so my question now is, what are you gonna do?
Well, if there's no more public comment, we're gonna go back to the, agenda, but I am going to say under old business, we are tabling the Minor Street Road project for discussion. We'll be discussing that in executive session due to new developments.
What does that mean?
She's keeping it a secret now.
So it will be, tabled, for now. And the board needs to discuss it, with our legal counsel in executive session. So with that being said, is there any public comment? We do have, well, why don't we talk about Stephen's recommendation for speed reduction? On the Minor Street Road?
I'd like to make a generic comment about, and I understand Minor Street, people are having an issue with speeders. I've been on this board for 20 years. And for 20 years, I've been saying, we're damned if we do, and we're damned if we don't. We have people in here complaining all the time about the conditions of their roads. They're junk. They're broke up, whatever. We warn them. We're gonna fix your road. But we're gonna make, once you give people a brand new road. I mean, we're gonna see it big time on Stiles. That's a 1.75 mile stretch, just as straight as you can ask for. And right now, it's not getting a lot of use because it's been ground and it's rough. I go across it at 30, 35 miles an hour. They blow by you with it in that condition. And that's a brand new road. And so what happens is a lot of times we build a new road, whether it's Judson Street or whatever. Well, the next thing, we got people in here complaining that the traffic is just going too fast. And so we need to reduce the speed limit on it. Those requests are not easy. We have to send them to the county sends them to the state normally does their investigation. And maybe one time in 25, we'll get an actual reduction. Tom Woodside was here last month. Tom said it very well. Enforcement's the only way. It's the only way. And so I think with regard to you, the day is gonna come. People are not gonna be happy with it. The day will come when there will be cameras for law enforcement because it's just gotten out of hand.
Well, I think you
It's-
should have a camera because that'll generate revenue. There's a camera up in
it's-
Canada
it's-
that generates
it's-
over $1 million.
But I mean, it's going to happen and people are not going to be happy. But again, we're not an enforcement agency. We're here, you give the highway superintendent money to build roads, builds new roads, you're gonna have speed. But in today's world, even the junk roads, they're just, it's crazy out there. And so, all right,
Okay, so, why don't we go down to new business number 7? Stephen requested that this be put on the, agenda, Minor Street Road speed reduction request from the 30-mile-per-hour mark to the Jingleville Road. Stephen, I'm just gonna have you talk a little bit about that, and then we'll take action because, residents are here, and then, we'll go from there. So can you please?
I'm requesting of the board for them to pass a motion or a resolution, whatever, to extend the 30-mile-an-hour zone from where it currently ended to the end of the 40 mile an hour zone, just past the Jingleville Road intersection.
Where does that end? Can you just remind us?
The 40 mile an hour zone.
Or where does that start, right?
Okay, just,
Yeah.
about at Preston's property.
Right, yeah,
in
right,
there.
actually
Okay.
just right
Yeah.
above the Guyets is
Okay,
where it
just
used.
so for the
For the
record,
minutes, will you just say it one more time?
yeah,
Sorry.
Right at the Guyets and Preston's property is where the 40 mile an hour zone started. It ends at just past the Jingleville Road intersection. So I'd like to see that turn to 30 miles an hour.
mhm. So this is the process, it's not a petition from anyone, but it is being requested by the highway superintendent. The board needs to take action on it, and then it goes to the county. And then the county sends it to the state, and then they come and the state comes and actually has someone there counting cars and speed and all that, right?
Yeah.
And-
They basically do a
Mhm.
study on it
Mhm.
and make their.
And that could take months for them to get here.
I'll make the
Okay.
motion. I'll make the motion.
So Jim Smith is making the motion.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Just that. So when did we make the request for the reduction on State Street?
Last summer. I would have to look back through my notes to see
What have we heard?
nothing.
And where is their office? Is it?
Watertown,
Mhm. But the engineer comes from,
he's out of Watertown, but he covers. I believe from Watertown to Rouse's Point,
right,
and he does
So,
speed reductions, curb cuts, all of that.
okay. So with that being said, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Aye. Carried. Okay. All right, we're gonna get back to the regular agenda. Again, you're all more than welcome to stay, but feel free if you need to get up and leave as well. All right, the next item on the agenda is approval of the regular minutes. Give us a second here.
No,
So I need a motion to approve the regular minutes of 5/8/24.
it's all moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Carried. All right, correspondence. We have a few here, this month. Just to let you know, there was New York State retirement training in May. I went, Shelby went, Gray and Gray went, and, very enlightening training, I must say. There's been some changes, and so now we have a contact when there's issues with the New York State retirement system, which there have been several. I attended the Clean Energy Conference in Clayton in May. That was very enlightening. The Indian Creek Nature Center had their 50th anniversary celebration on June 8th. Wonderful, wonderful program that's been in existence for 50 years. And if you haven't gone out there, they put in a new platform, and it's good. It's all good. So congratulations to them. I was invited to join a committee for Hometown Heroes Flag Program. So the mayor and I met with VFW representatives, and basically what they would like to do is, you've seen the Hometown Hero flags in other communities,
Mhm.
and they want to do it here. So that's a really good thing that's coming. You can't put them on these poles, but looking at the other connectors coming into Canton. So more information will be coming for that. If someone, there's a lot of things to consider. And so we appreciate being part of that positive thing. So as far as the flags, who's gonna go on what, and who's gonna pay for what, and if it's gonna be World War II or other veterans or active members, that all has yet to be determined. There's some guidelines through the program. So that's a good thing.
Could
We,
you- Could you find out what they're gonna cost? And,
there's different costs depending upon the size.
okay,
So it's a little over $100, I think, for the size that they're looking at. We
Okay,
can't do the
so-
really big ones.
so what I'd like to know is if I, as an individual, could sponsor one of them. So you talk about costs.
I think you
So-
can. I think there's gonna be an application process, but there was also, discussion about who's gonna take in the money, the town or the village, and,
Okay.
how that's all
So
done.
they are.
Yes,
yeah. So,
I'll send the
so,
board more information.
rather than,
But
I
yeah.
mean, I don't have a problem with it, but rather than, taxpayers footing the bill, I think you'd be surprised that.
There's
you'd
no
get,
taxpayer dollars
Oh,
put in the
okay,
bill, only
okay.
for installation,
Okay.
of the.
And so the rest of it
brackets
is
and
going to be through some sort of sponsorship.
Sponsorship, or like if I wanted to personally, put one,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
not one of my family members,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah,
that's
the
what that's what I mean.
families,
So a sponsor, okay,
families, yeah.
all right,
yeah.
all right, thank
So
you.
that's a good thing and very positive. The First Amendment auditors visited our building on June 6th. And First Amendment auditors are people that come in our building with cameras. They don't need to identify themselves. And they come in here twice on the 6th. There was 3 of them, and I did send the board and staff members information on what First Amendment auditors are. So what happens is they come in and they film whoever, and they try to talk to us, and then they put it on YouTube. And they make their money by by getting money from sponsors, or excuse me, subscribers to YouTube. So that was an interesting day. We got a letter from North Country Housing Council right across the street. They will be closing their doors. Let's see here. So the letter is from Annette Bowman, and I will hand this to Heidi. The Housing Council has been in existence since 1982. It's with sadness that they're going to be closing. I thought there was a date, June 26th of 24. So any request for assistance from the North Country Housing Council needs to go to Ruth Doyle, the St. Lawrence County Administrator, or Jason Botenhauer, St. Lawrence County Planning Office, or Dank Michelle Capone. So that's another Main Street door that's gonna be closed. That's sad. We did get the Mead Road executed pilot agreement. This is the very first solar project from years ago. We finally got an actual document now about the pilot. So I did request that they put the actual breakdown in the pilot, because it only shows for the first year for this pilot of $25,000 between 4 taxing jurisdictions. And so I'm gonna ask Heidi to put this in the record. For the first year for the Mead Road Solar Project, Canton Central School will be getting $16,348.13. St. Lawrence County will be getting $62,1810.10. The town of Canton,
Here it comes, drum
can't
roll,
even say this.
drum
number.
roll.
$2,020.77. And then town chargebacks, $413.01, to a total of $25,000. So this is expected to be received in the year of, they say 24,
Why
but I'm not sure.
are the chargebacks in there?
This is what we got from the IDA. I think the chargebacks maybe to
thought
go to the IDA, maybe. I don't know. I don't know enough about that
I
piece.
thought chargebacks were special district, just like fire.
That might
No?
be for the fire.
They're not gonna be for chargebacks?
Chargebacks are
You gotta speak up, Mike.
Chargebacks are for real property.
I understand that.
Yeah, we know where the other 4 chargebacks are. This-
Chargebacks.
For the real property part.
They're
Getting a cut on
getting cut on it. That $400 goes to the county.
Yeah, it goes to the
So
county.
another chargeback upon the chargebacks that we already have. So I'm gonna send that down for Heidi. So this is one of the, pilot agreements that we have. And it's based on a formula. Pilot agreements.
When-
So the town has done a lot of work and we. I'm getting, well, almost a week from it. Yeah. Okay. So that's the Mead Road one. Jim, I'm gonna keep going if you want to. I only have one more, correspondence. Which is even greater news. I apologize, I should not have said that. Orez has made determinations assigned to the Rich Road project. And this is the ruling. After the public hearing where several people went, our attorney spoke on behalf of the town, the mayor spoke on behalf of the village. The town and village did not raise substantive and significant issues requiring changes to the project or further adjudicatory proceedings by the agency. The ruling effectively clears the way for a final siting permit to be issued for the project without changes to the scope of the project or accommodations for any of the concerns raised by either local government board. So this is a 62-page document that is on, it should be on the ORS site right now. But if not, I can certainly, if anyone would like a copy of this document from the public hearing and the judges, I'd be glad to make sure that we get that to you. And that is all I have for correspondence at this time. So Jim, did you want to say anything else about that? No? Okay,
That's what they originally gave us, so. I was working off of that.
okay, you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Been good.
Town finances report.
Good evening. The finance report was sent again in advance of the meeting. So just to provide a recap of that, the overall townwide, there is a surplus within operations. The aid fund has collected 100% of its revenue, largest source of revenue, which is your real property taxes, salaries and benefits through all of the funds, A, B, D, A, D, B, are trending as we would expect. So they're all around 42% expended, which is where you would want to be in May. DADB don't reflect those percentages because they're tied to the maintenance of the roads and snow and such. The B fund, sales tax, distribution is fully recognized in there. And also the DA fund, that one has 100% of its revenue collected. When you look at the budget versus actual, the remaining revenue to come into that fund is actually an appropriation, or I'm sorry, a use of fund balance. So we'll monitor that fund to see, where we fall by the end of the year. DB looks as though we have collected versus budget a smaller amount of revenue. But that is to come through sales tax and our CHIPS money for the roads. And so what we would expect to see in the next June through fall months is a slow of spending in the DA fund switching over to the DB fund. So while those may not be trending percentage wise, that variance is understandable for those reasons. SF, your special fire and special lighting, all the activity with that is within those two funds is as expected. So overall, the cash, year over year in comparison is good and somewhat unchanged. There is 16% of your cash that is for special purpose. So that, is unchanged from prior month, but year over year, there's a decrease in that percentage as well. Any questions on any of the finances?
I just would like to add that, today we received, mortgage tax of 66,292 and 65 cents. We budgeted 90,000 for mortgage tax in our budget. I thought that was quite high for the first check.
Sounds like it, but
Yeah.
then, but in December, when we got that one, which is usually the high one,
yeah,
we were surprised at how little it was.
right,
And so maybe that's just,
yeah,
but that sounds high. Usually it's less than half of what we budget in the first, and this.
yeah, usually it's flipped, but
Yeah,
this,
it's usually
I
flipped. so
I was surprised.
Maybe it has something to do with bookkeeping.
I think that was a no comment.
No, I meant at the county. I'm sorry, not, no. I just meant-
No offense taken.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no,
kidding.
no, I'm too close.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and I also want to point out that if you look at the solar escrow cash, right? In January, we refunded Cypress Creek, I don't know, $21,000. We had to send that to California. Couple months later, the check hadn't been cashed. Well, no, I take that back. Then it was returned to us, address was wrong. So then we got the proper address. Solar companies have a lot of addresses, I just want to say that. We sent it back to them. 2 months went by and that check still hadn't been cashed. So I needed to contact the proper person in their accounting department and say, did you get the check? They got the check. I said, you either cash it within a week because it's, you know, way over the time, or I'm gonna have to cancel the check. They took it to their bank and their bank wouldn't cash it because it was like closer to 90 days that they had sat on that check. So this week we sent that back, so you'll see a deduction there. And then we just mailed today, it's on the agenda under new business. Forefront Power has withdrawn their community solar project. So we refunded them $52,656.25 for their escrow money. So who knows, another project may come in, but hopefully that check will be cashed too, so, you know, on time. All right, any other questions on the town report? Okay, you wanna do clerks?
Sure. And looking at the clerk's report, we went through the same procedures that we do every month. And we do note that there are town and county taxes that were collected through May. May 31st ends the collection officially. I think there's a reconciliation through the first part of June with the county. All of the accounts balanced as would be anticipated. The total revenue earned by the town from the clerk's office is approximately $2,144 this month, which is very similar to the year prior at this time. So everything within those accounts are balanced and due to be paid out accordingly, and probably most likely have in the first week of June.
Any questions on that? Heidi, do you have anything to add? Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you, Angela and Danielle and everybody at Gray and Gray for all your work. Appreciate it. All right, audit committee.
Ready, Heidi?
Mhm.
General Fund A, $44,381.76. Town outside B, $15,517.09. DA townwide highway, $9,880.79. DB highway, $31,687.70. Special fire, $4,588.83. Special lighting, $281.16. Trust and agency, $25,317.34.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the expenditures.
So
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
I
Aye, carried. Okay. Department reports. Heidi, would you like to go first, please?
Sure. She didn't have my written report in the board packet, but you did have my monthly cash report. But I did put one in last minute. So, we've been pretty busy, with FOIL requests, and assisting the dog warden. We are finishing up the tax collection, so I'm working on the final balance sheet that I'll send to the treasurer's office sometime this week for them to review and approve, and once that comes back to me, I will then send the county the last bit of their money, and then I'll give the town what is left for you guys, and then we will be closed out with town and county taxes. I just attended a NIAL Girl Conference for Records Management. It was amazing. I just got back yesterday. So I'm really excited to start implementing what I learned into our records and organization. I was lucky enough to speak with Michael Martin. He is the town's records advisory officer through the New York State Archives. So I got to talk to him a little bit about what's going on in the town, court stuff. And so it was really nice to get to actually have a one-on-one with him. I did recommend having a court class next year for court records. So if they put that on the agenda, I'll definitely be attending. The biggest thing is Communications Technology Committee. Our new website has gone live. It did go live on Monday about 4:30 and then actually went down Tuesday. We were without a website Tuesday for half the day, so we apologize for that, but it should be up and running. We do ask that people just bear with us, just to make sure everything actually transferred over properly. But if you do find something, just contact Sally and I, and we can put it back on there. A couple really cool things I like about the website is that we now have e-notifications, so you can get notifications for like agendas, minutes for a couple different boards and committees. If you do come across something that you don't see on the e-notification list, just let me know and I'll add it. And then on the home screen, we have a what's that little notification box that won't always be there right now. It just tells you that there's a new website, and we're working on putting some information in there about how you can sign up for your notifications. But in the event like a road is closed or something, we'll be able to put that up there. So we're excited about that. But yeah, just bear with us for I'm gonna say a couple weeks, because there are a lot of new things on this website that we didn't deal with on the old website, and not everybody is as tech savvy. So just reach out to Sally and I, and we can get it taken care of. We do know that some of our minutes and agendas did not transfer over, so that's gonna take us a little bit of time and re-uploading them, but for the most part, they all came over. And then the last thing is that the town clerk's office is gonna be doing extended business hours until the end of August. So Monday through Thursday, our office is gonna be open from 7:15 to 4:30. And then Friday will just be regular business hours, 8:30 to 4. But because the building doesn't open until 8, anything from 7:15 to 8 o'clock, and then from 4 to 4:30 is by appointment. We did a trial run for roughly a month to see, and it's been working, so we're gonna stick with it. And that's it. Any questions?
Any questions? I would just like to say kudos to you, Sally, the committee, that website.
It's been a lot.
It has been a tremendous amount of work for how many months, Heidi?
When we start that process, I don't even remember. I've been so consumed with it, honestly. It's taken up a lot of my time.
Ladies done a
So,
lot of work on it.
Yeah.
and then the tail end of it, Sally has had to do, so we're
Bravo,
excited.
bravo, and congratulations, and thank you.
And we hope everybody likes it, so.
I tried to navigate some things today, and it's interesting. It's you have to get used to it, right? So you gotta use it a couple times, and but yeah, what an enhancement to what it was.
Mhm.
So my question to you is, when does the old one
It's
that's
gone.
done?
It's gone.
Okay,
You shouldn't be able to
okay.
find it.
Someone
It's
did
still
try to,
CantonNY.gov.
yeah, okay,
So we did have that mix up from Monday to Tuesday, and then both of them went down.
okay,
So it should only be our new one.
okay. Someone did try to contact me, but, and they looked on the website and it said 404 something.
We got
And
another
that was
call
when it
about
was
that
down.
as well, but we went right on and asked them to walk us through it, cause I think they were trying to maybe get a hold of Steven, but they were going to Tim. And you, I don't,
There was,
but
yeah,
yeah, we did try to, we walked, on the phone with somebody today
great.
to try to figure out where they kind of found a weird number two. So, but yeah, what help, and
And John, aren't you in one of the videos?
the CGI video that you guys created is right on the home screen, so.
You and Barbara Beekman.
I was enjoying a Sergio's pizza roll. Immensely enjoying a Sergio's.
So you're on the Sergi's Pizza Roll, so there you go. There you go, little advertisement, was the word Sergi's in there, or?
And then
No,
the
very
board,
nice.
the department heads, I mean, and the supervisor mayor, Sally Ann and I will be putting on a training, a one day where you guys are gonna come sit with us and we're gonna teach you how to edit your own pages. We'll let you know when we decide that date.
Oh, I'm excited.
You don't have, you don't have a page.
I'll be
Lucky
absent
you
that-
don't have a page, huh?
I'll be absent that day.
Well, you already know what my response is gonna be to that.
I'll come
Yeah.
right to your office and train you.
Uh-huh, good luck with that. Might need extra training. But, no, it's a very nice website, so thank you to everybody. Appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Linda,
Yeah, I figured you were gonna call me.
you're
That's
number
nice, thank
two.
you.
Stand right up so everybody can hear
Okay,
you.
and I have to talk loud.
Stand right up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, first of all, I made 3 spelling mistakes in my report that John got me right when I came in, because I didn't use spell check. The checker. So we have an open house starting all day Saturday from 12 to 4. This lady and her husband are coming to describe the book and the life that their families went through in Poland during World War II. And they migrated to Pirates. He came in with me 2 months ago. And somehow it got on the website, and Joan Olin in Pirates has read it. She said they had to change some names, but the history is right on.
What's the name of it? Catherine's
Catherine's
Dream.
So
By,
she's
and who's the author?
the Polish,
Roxanne?
yes.
How
And
do you
they're-
say her last name?
I can't say it right.
Bocyck.
Oh, chick.
Bojack?
Yes, so they're coming in for the 4 hours and people are responding because they want books to buy. So he came in, Doc Ochick, because he wants to buy one for his wife and not tell her.
So will they be selling them?
Yes, she'll be
Okay.
selling them.
Okay.
She's coming up at
Don't put
10.
that
They're
in.
from
She'll be
Syracuse.
signing them?
Yeah.
Don't put that in the paper. It's a surprise.
He's already done.
Oh,
He did a good report on what's going on inside. I'm very pleased.
Exactly.
Paul and I have a long history of how we communicated. and- How many years?
all right, keep going, keep going.
But
Come on,
anyway,
focus.
okay, that's happening, and Frank White's birthday, 106th, is tomorrow. He is home. And we were gonna have him come in tomorrow, but that's up in the air, and he's ready. So Trombley ladies take care of him, they brought him home. And, last year we had the 105th birthday party with like 60 people that went through. So I don't know how it'll be if they're gonna bring him in on Saturday, it could be too busy. And any questions about the rest of my report? Because I have it here. Yeah. So I'm very excited about the open house, because we've had very good luck with open houses. And, I'm sorry for the mistakes in my report.
How many people this past month have come in? Approximately.
Oh. 35. And today I had a mother come with her 2 children that she homeschools. Those 2 children were so respectful and interested, they're homeschooled. And Frank White's books with the boys, big thing. And the girl was reading one of Judy Riscom's book on history. And I have families coming with children, what family comes in? Their father was a doctor and they're out in Norwood now, but she brings her 4 kids in once every 2 weeks.
Okay, do you wanna talk about this now?
Oh, yes, this is really big. I worked with, a St. Lawrence professor who's now retired for the last 10 years. She took retirement. Italian, and she sent these students to me. These two Grass River Heritage sent me. And only one really stuck with it. Their jobs were to give Grass River Heritage ideas of what can be done in the park. He has 8 pages here. Been here 4 years, she's from Maine, and I gave you all one, and I should give you, one unbelievable suggestions, being a student, and what can be done for the White Churches area, the whole waterfront, and for Grass River Heritage. It's exciting. I mean,
Do you have an extra copy for Heidi?
I do.
Oh, she has one?
No, I have one with me. I had an extra one.
Okay, yeah,
But
just for
read-
the record,
But
so,
reading it was like, this girl is like in her 40s and has done this. She is so good at it. And she sat with the White Church's daughter, who was 90, and their granddaughter. And it was just fabulous things going back and forth.
great.
So I like these projects when I get them from the state university, but now I want to get up to school and get the children coming to go now, because I see the kids walking already in different classes. So that's my opportunity right now to get up there and have classes, send the students down. And they don't have to go in jail.
I'll take this one down. Yeah, second graders, had careers on Main Street, and do it every year. And
But I
I'm
want
hoping that
middle
they do,
Yeah. I
top
want-
at yours.
Yeah, and I
next
want
year.
older students coming.
Oh, all of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
especially up to 8th grade. And then the high school.
Do you know how many students that is?
Yeah, but they're coming different
Hundreds.
times,
Hundreds.
and Rennis is gonna be there. Rennis is back working 2 days a week, and she is amazing. Oh, and then, Rachel Town has resigned. She came to me with her grandmother when she graduated college, and her grandmother said, can you use her? She worked with me for 11 years, up in that 2nd floor, and she didn't always get paid. 1 year, I paid her from a month, and she didn't plan to get paid, and now she's got a job down in Rochester in the law library. And she's gonna love that, because she's been working over in Plattsburgh. Tuesday afternoon, she drives up, she belongs to the courts on the next day, so, and she's worked for the library. I sent her over there to volunteer, and then they hired her. So we'll be working on trying to find,
Yeah, it's on the agenda.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I hope it's a
Okay.
local.
okay.
A local, Rennis Biznet will help, help.
Any
Okay, anything
questions from the
for
board?
me?
Okay, thank you, Linda.
I'll make sure I spell it right this time, John.
Okay, Lee, how about you? Lee's here. Oh, yeah.
I am, yep. I mean, I'll discuss my report, I guess. The New York Forward process, the local planning committee had their first meeting on May 10th. The next one is scheduled for June 25th. There was, the consultant team was here on May 29th and 30th. They did stakeholder meetings, and then there was a public open house that evening. And then open hours with the consultants, office hours with the consultants, but all of that was very well attended, got a lot of really great feedback, so that was exciting. There is a community survey now live. There is a website for this project as well, and the survey is on it. It's also, at least was on our old website. I'm not sure if it got transferred over. If not, we'll make sure it gets on the new website. But it's www.cantonyforward.com. And that has all the information about the meetings, the committee, whatever is going on with that project and process. The next thing is the meeting on the 25th of the planning committee. And we're expecting that just after that, the open call for projects will come out. So that's the opportunity for people to submit to sponsor a project for the New York Forward, $4.5 million. And that we anticipate will be open to the end of July. The New York Main Street grant continues to move along. We have projects now ongoing at 45 and 81 Main Streets, and are waiting for some SHPO response on a couple of other projects. But again, continuing to move along with renovations. You'll see across the street, they're getting new storefront over there, so that's why that's covered up, but they are open. There's a back entrance. The village's secondary water source project, all the contracts have been signed. The notices to proceed have been issued. So if work has not already started, it will be starting very soon, and that is out behind the EJ Noble building. The Canton Cares program, that was over $1 million grant we received to assist small businesses and also to expand mental health services with United Helpers. Our original deadline has passed. We've requested another short extension for the end of this month so we can wrap up the admin and make sure all the budgets, we use every penny that we can for that. I did just have another potential small business express interest, and there's a little bit of money left, so we may be doing a little bit more with small businesses. The Willow Island project is also moving along. It's nearly complete at this point. The paving is done, the electrical's run. They were gonna be cutting the grass, and the grass is coming up. You have to do plantings up there. The silt fence has been removed, so that again is nearly complete, at least phase one. The Midtown Plaza project, the village had extended the deadline for the request for proposals through to June 11th. However, I went to a conference a couple weeks ago, North Country Housing Symposium, and met someone from Homes and Community Renewal at the state level that handles their housing programs, and was able to get some other contacts of developers who actually do these kind of projects and utilize their programs. So I did some outreach to some additional developers, and we're getting more interest. So we may be extending that deadline again. We hope to have that in place though, so they can then sponsor an application to New York Forward. So it will be this sometime this month. The only other thing I have is a consolidated funding application is now open. Applications are due on the 31st, and there's a link to all the resources available. And if we are going to be submitting applications this year, we need to be thinking about what those are and preparing them. So that's all that I have on.
Do we have any questions? Was phase 2 of the Willow Island, what about the entertainment center, what do you call it?
Performance space.
Yes, performance space. Where are you at with that?
We are trying to set up a meeting with Matthew Nevada and the consultants to discuss it. Likely the village will have to sponsor an application to complete because it's a municipal publicly owned piece of property. So I expect we'll probably be submitting for additional work to the Willow Island project through New York Forward. So phase 3 included the play area as well. We have concepts for things. We don't have final design. So the funding request can include the final design work. So we could submit to receive funding that would include money to do the final design on those things too.
And the boundary for the New York Forward grant, can you?
It's
just-
on the website. It's a
Yeah.
little bit hard to explain, but it goes basically down Governor Street as far as the old AAA lumber building and comes up and includes the Cascade. It goes up Riverside Drive as far as the towers owned by the Canton Housing Authority and comes back. It covers all of the commercial properties along Main Street and the little side shoots along Hodgkin and State, and goes down as far as the Historical Association, which now has a new name. If people hadn't noticed, they are rebranding. The St. Lawrence County Center for Arts and Culture, I believe is what they're called now. Includes the park, the Village Green, comes up to, I believe, where Luna is, includes the plaza. Comes across, essentially it's all of the commercial or most of the commercial properties within the downtown that could reasonably fit. And cuts across again and connects over onto
Okay,
Governor Street. But again, it's on the website if anyone wants to take that.
lots of work.
It's on.
Anybody have any questions of Lee? All right, well, thank you for all you do, appreciate it. Stephen, would you like to go next?
At 12 Styles Avenue, we finally did get natural gas to the buildings. The tap has been done under the street and the line is underground to the building. We just need to have a burner person come and do the connection, so that's been a year coming, trying to get that all taken care of, but looks like we're finally in the home stretch there. Gravel roads have been a struggle this year with all the rain. We're still trying to get our spring work done from that. A lot of washouts, things like that after the storms last weekend. Been taking a lot of time to try to keep those up and keep with them. Been working on our road construction project, cutting shoulders, replacing culvert pipes, trying to get prepped. I don't have any word yet on when the county is coming. Haven't heard from them quite some time, so we're just trying to get everything done, but with rain and everything, it's a struggle. We've been getting kind of more of a public service announcement. We've been getting a lot of people when we close the road to do construction. A lot of people going around their signs. We had an incident on a road cutting some shoulders where a young man came through jogging. The crew tried to stop him. They were all pretty upset when they were telling me, so I looked it up on the dash cams on the truck. And one of the trucks was actually backing in to get loaded, and young man ran right by them. So they were yelling at him to stop because there was equipment working up ahead and he had earbuds in. So, I mean, if he couldn't hear them yelling, obviously couldn't hear the backup beepers on the equipment and trucks. I took the one guy by surprise. He told me, he said, if he heard me, I'm gonna be in trouble. I haven't heard anything yet, so I didn't ask what he spoke to him about, but he said that he never broke stride, just kept on going, so apparently he didn't hear him. So when we put the signs up, it's not just for cars, it's for everyone's safety, the crew's safety, everyone. And we allow people that are, live inside the construction zone, they can get to and from their homes, no problem. Sometimes if we have a culvert pipe out, that's a different story to try to cross that, but even if we have something torn up, we try our best to make a pathway to get someone home or to a business, that happens to. So that's something that's been a bit of a problem this year. And National Grid took a tree down today for us that was in the power line, so we were thankful to them to do that for us. That helped out a lot. And as always, we could use more help at Highway Department.
So the Liberty project, that is to upgrade,
We
the
put
12
new
style.
heating system in 12 styles
Mhm.
last year.
Mhm.
It was all set up for natural gas. There was paperwork that got held up and we didn't get there. So we had to convert the burners to propane, which is basically a orifice the size of a dime to change out. And we heated with propane for the winter. So this year we've got all the pieces that were taken out to convert it to propane, so we can switch back to natural gas. We have all the pieces to do that, so we just need our burner person to connect the plumbing to the meter rail, and then we're good.
Okay, and how close was that runner to the equipment? Pretty close?
You can make his face straight out in the dash camera, no problem, going by the trucks. It was the guy running the grader. The worst part of it, what scared him where he spoke out, he caught something in the shoulder with the blade and it threw him sideways. So that's what riled him up, where he was pretty upset when he got back.
It threw the piece of equipment
Yeah,
sideways.
With the blade angled cutting, it'll grab and throw you around sometimes.
Mhm. So that runner chose to go through a construction zone.
Yeah, we have him on the dash cam on another truck going around the road closed sign and coming through.
Mhm. Okay. Any questions of Stephen? All right, thank you and to the crew for how you do. Mike,
Through the month of May, I issued a total of 11 building permits. A couple to note, new residential home on Sykes Road, almost on the corner of 27 and Sykes Road for a new home. And also on the Sykes Road, a new manufactured home. That's for the gentleman that had the fire at the end of Sykes Road across from Longshore Road. Project costs were 47, permit fees were 1523. I did also attend the housing synopsis up in Plattsburgh. The speakers were ones that really gave us information. The breakout sessions, they were nice, but the people that spoke were very informative on the struggles. It's just not St. Lawrence County, it's Essex County, it's Clinton County. I think Lee can attest, the push is pro-housing. There's 8 or 9 in the North Country that are pro-housing certified, more than the whole downstate area, so they're pushing that. I also attended the fair housing quarterly meeting at the planning department. I did not find out, I should have. They were gonna present the fair housing assessment to the Board of Legislators on Monday, and hopefully they adopted that. Well, we've started working on it in 22, and we have to change it every 3 years, so hopefully that's adopted. And the rest of the month was normal construction going on, as long as the weather cooperated, so. And Marianne already said Forefront withdrew their application for the solar project on Nickerson Road.
I did take a little ride with Mike at my request to see, we went out and saw 4 solar projects that have started. And it's interesting. It really is. And lots going on. Lots going on. So I appreciate Mike driving Miss Daisy around to see the solar project. Okay, any questions of Mike? All right, Cindy.
Hi, good evening. I would like to add to thank Heidi for helping me with my website. I totally changed things. I mean, I had a lot of links going to the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance, and she helped me format everything and link it to that, and it looks a lot better than it was before. And I have a lot of people call me and they have the form right there, and I'm ready to send it to them, and then they're on my website that can link right to the application. So it's very user friendly. So it's thank you, Heidi. Okay, so my report. We finished with well, we didn't finish. We were supposed to meet this afternoon, but there was a little bit of a problem with one of my bar members. So hopefully by Monday, Tuesday, we'll be able to finish up the paperwork to have everything signed off on. And then I could bring it down to real property and they could make the corrections, and then we could finalize the rules.
You're talking about the grievance day.
Yes, agreement. There's the stipulations and that have to be signed by the bar, and a couple of other cover sheets that have to be signed, and then there's they have to pick the next 3 meetings. So if we decide if we have to meet for corrections or anything, so that we have to decide on that day. So that's looking. I went back out and I did data collection today. I went out to SUNY Canton. Last time the pictures were taken, I showed to Linda, they were 1950.
Yes.
With just the black and white.
1950.
So it was nice. I went through the whole campus. None of the students were there. I was able to park the car and walk around the campus and take pictures and update the property record cards and stuff. There are a couple of buildings that are missing in the inventory. I'm gonna finish them out and put them out on property record cards and so forth. So that was today. Tax map, they're all printed out upstairs outside my office. The large tax maps, if you guys need it digitally, I can do that for you if you need to. Just let me know. We didn't send the link to everybody, so whoever wants it, just let me know. I'll get you the link to the digital maps, tax maps. Let's see. 6 towns will be going to reval next year. So that's Louisville, Madrid, Parrishville, Potsdam, Stockholm, and Waddington. So they're gonna be busy down the real property office and everything. We also have our staff report number 4. It's the tentative road corrections report that came out last night. Just making sure things where the state was notifying the public if they're missing data. So they're pending right now for their star exemptions, so they're waiting for the property owners to send them information for the star reports, for the star exemptions, and we're pretty much in good shape with the stars. Then they did, if anybody opted to get the star credit check, they are now doing direct deposit. So you just have to go to, I said in my report, the link to how to go in there and set up an account and to go to get your check direct deposit. My feeling on it is probably can direct deposit September 1st to September 2nd, go right into your checking account. Otherwise, you're gonna have to wait till they release the checks, and it might be towards the middle or end of the month, so. But it'll definitely be before September 30th, before you have to pay your school taxes, so. And I volunteered for Senior Rama. If I'm saying it right. It's July 22nd. It's at the Mohawk Casino. That's where
Would you say the first part of that, you're volunteering for that?
Senior Rama.
Oh, you're volunteering for that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, me and Brittany, that's her for the town of Messina. She's gonna be doing it. We're right there. We'll go down and they're having a event for the seniors and giving out information. and
oh, it's
stuff
not,
like that.
it's at the
About
casino?
stars and- Yeah.
Mhm, mhm,
So
mhm.
you're just going to be able to
Right.
answer questions, you're gonna have a table?
Right, and we'll have forms there and everything.
Oh, uh-huh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, thank you,
That should
Cindy.
be fun.
Thank you for, yeah.
That's about it. Anybody have any questions? No.
Any questions of Cindy? All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, Megan's not here. Does anyone hear from Megan? Okay, all right, with that being said, I need a motion to accept department reports.
So moved.
Second? I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, carried. All right, committee reports. Who would like to start?
Shared Services Committee met yesterday, wasn't it? Yesterday, whatever, Monday. And I sat in for Randy, who was unavailable. And everything that was discussed there regards to courts, this building, will all be taken up at the joint meeting with the village on
June
27th,
26th,
6th.
Wednesday at 6.
Highway didn't meet, solar didn't meet.
Okay. Anyone else?
Building committee met earlier this week. Last week, this week.
We met.
My J's are all jumbled. Big thing that came out of it was you can all see there's a piece of equipment out here in the parking lot. It's all coned off. It was last week because we were told they were supposed to start taking that down Monday-ish was what we were told.
Yeah.
So it's Wednesday-ish and the machine's just sitting there. So hopefully sometime this week they'll start making a move over there, but they're ready to start tearing into it, I guess.
Yeah, big hope. Still say I think I'd want a thumb on it.
And it'll be on the agenda for the June 26th joint meeting as well.
Might be gone by then.
Okay, sustainability committee met, and let me see what day was that? On 6/4, and there was discussion about the Rich Road Solar Project. Many of the members met with EDF by invitation to discuss some of the concerns that they talked about at the public hearing. I did let them know about the ruling from ORAS as well. They talked about the climate smart community, the status of that, talked about the low mow areas, that project. Dustin went to the Eagle Adapt Conference, in another state. He said that was really good. They talked about the North Country compost, clean energy, conference, and then the status of the sustainability committee resolution. A resolution is gonna be introduced to the joint, at the joint meeting for continued support of the sustainability committee. So, last month we did have that, on the agenda. Soon it came. We still need to consider, that one item. So that was the sustainability committee. And then on behalf of Randy, I attended the Complete Streets Task Force meeting on June 10th. Large agenda, but also just specific items were discussed. The Minor Street Road project, the Remington Trail and Park Imagination Nation, the bike rack project at St. Lawrence University. We talked about a formal resolution and recommendation for Court Street changes. The New York Forward Grant was discussed. The Court Street, changes about stop signs, and traffic flow was part of that. They did pass a resolution, which I need to find my notes on. It wasn't a formal resolution, but it was a verbal resolution. Their concerns about Minor Street. I have sent that to the board. It is part of the record. And if as we move further and I find it, I will bring it back up. But I did send that. So that was sustainability committee. Any other committee reports? Okay. With that being said, we'll go to old business. We tabled the Minor Street Road project. That'll be brought into executive session due to new developments. The comprehensive plan review update. Everybody, MJ Engineering has sent out a survey to everybody and has asked that you complete that survey. As you know, it's a review of the comprehensive plan. And so I'm just bringing that to the board as a reminder. If you haven't had a chance to fill out that survey, please do. Because they're taking all the opinions from everybody. And then we'll be reporting out and making some recommendations sometime soon. The Olin Cemetery Preservation Grant request. Judy Olin has put in a request. She's interested in applying for grant money to help preserve the Olin Cemetery on the Sykes Road. This was on the agenda and it was pending Eric's review and opinion and legal counsel on how to move forward. So hi, Eric, would you like to
Yeah.
speak to this?
Not really. No, man, it's complicated. I think, it's currently with the town. We can have the donation for time to make a grant request on behalf of the town if that's the board wishes. I know there was some other discussion about options with what to do with the cemetery property, but I don't have a conclusive answer on that yet. So if the board wishes for a grant application to be made and for her to work on it, there's no reason we can't do that. But it just have to be in the name of the town.
It'd have to be the town that.
I haven't seen the application, so I'm not sure what's involved, and I'd be glad to reach
They
out.
need to see the application. I think Eric needs to see the application. I
and
mean,
see what's involved and
it's
the terms and whatnot.
with Eric, it's such a touchy. I mean, the sad part is we should, we're the owner of the darn cemetery. I mean, and you would hope that never happens, but it does. And so when, you know, whoever has control of the cemetery can no longer maintain it anymore by law, they can just abandon it. When it's abandoned, then it becomes the responsibility of the town of Canton, or the township that it lies in. And so that puts us in a, I think, in a very difficult spot. Because now there are people that have family in these abandoned cemeteries that want to do something. And to be able to juggle that, so we don't end up in a liability issue of some sort, it's sad, it's pretty sad.
And Judy's aware of the actual, the grave sites and whatnot, but what they wanna do is put a new fence and new signage around it. And that's what they were just talking about, not touching any of the grave markers or, you know, mowing or anything like that, but it's just the outside perimeter.
So, I mean, there's a fence around it. And just, they wanna change it to something that looks different. I think, you know, I think we would need to, for the owners of it, we need to see what they've got in mind, and we do need, I think, to see a copy of the grant application or what they're looking at. I said, I'd rather not have to, but I think that it's our responsibility.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, just generically, Mary, the town board has the legal authority to accept gifts to the town and, you know, the assistance to prepare a grant application for review of the board for a town property would be something the town board could absolutely do. Right, I mean, I think of course, as Jim says, we'd want to review that carefully, but can we do it? Sure.
And could we have that work contracted?
Absolutely.
Okay. So it's not work, because we own it, it's not work that we would have to then, as long as we get, you know, as part of the grant, included in there is all of the costs for installation and whatnot, and the fact that you know, I think you'd have to have quotes from somebody on, you know,
Yeah, I
as
mean,
far
all
as
of
the
the-
installation of it, but
Depending on the cost and all of that, all the general rules for procurement would apply, right? I mean, we'd have to go through those full process, but
it's a little bit bigger than a resident just wanting to apply for a grant and have them manage it
yeah,
and that type of thing, everything has to go through.
yeah, I mean, it's gotta go
Cost
through the
and-
regular
yeah.
municipal processes when it's a
Okay.
town-owned property.
Mhm. All right, so if the board's in agreement, I'll contact Judy and get more information, get a copy of that application, and then we'll just spruce that and then go from there. Is everybody in agreement with that? Okay. All right, thank you. 64 Main Street, John already reported out on that, and it'll be on the joint meeting agenda as well. As to what are the next steps once it's down. Okay, new business. I am very pleased to be able to say, that code enforcement officer, Mike McQuaid is eligible for permanent appointment now. Now, Mike's been with us, I don't know, what are we going on, the third year? 2020.
November
But
15th.
before that, you were here part-time. You were here part-time
Yes,
before that.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you loved Canton so much, you wanted to come back, and here we are. So when we hired Mike, it was a provisional appointment pending the test of civil service. Well, that took a couple years for the county to get that all together. And I believe Mike was the only one that took the
Yep.
test, has successfully passed the test. So, we are, I was so excited, because Mike is doing a wonderful job. So with that being said, normally through civil service, there's a probationary period that has to be adhered to as per the county. I think Mike's already done the probationary time, and the county's acknowledged that, so that can be waived as per the county. So I am making the recommendation that we permanently appoint Mike McQuaid as code enforcement officer. with no probationary period, as part of the appointment. So I'm making that motion. Is there a second? Any questions or comments?
So does, when you say permanent appointment, that means that once he gets it, he can't leave.
Yes,
Okay.
that is.
As long as that's understood.
Yep, we got the chain to the desk already up there and.
So we say so.
All in favor, say aye. Aye,
Aye,
carried. Congratulations, Mike. And thank you.
condolences, whatever you
Thank
wanna
you.
call it.
Okay, part-time clerk appointment in the assessor's office. We went through the process, advertised, as you know, the board approved $6,000 to hire someone up to 19 hours a week at $20 an hour. For so many hours, once that 6,000's gone, to assist with, finishing the upgrading of the records in the assessor's office, in anticipation of a revaluation. So we went through the process and we are recommending that Christy Decay, D-E capital K-A-Y, Christy, is the appointee. There were 9 applicants. 6 people were interviewed and, Cindy did second interviews of the top 2. It's a great process that we've instilled for years. And so, it is, my recommendation as well, to appoint Christy Decay as the part-time clerk for the assessor's office.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. So the start date is targeted for next Monday. I believe there's about, out of the 3,900 properties that we have, there's about 1,700 left that have to be upgraded. Kudos to Cindy for all her due diligence and those records. I mean, Polaroid camera pictures, you know, so, she's done a great job with that.
Cut out of pamphlets from the college.
Yeah, yeah. So very nice. The next item is, as Linda had mentioned, Rachel Town has resigned. She has been with the town for 11 years of service. We wish her well. We thank her. I know Linda's gonna miss her. Like to think we had something to do with her moving on up to get that state job at that the law library in Rochester. I think for the 4th judicial district or something like.
Yep.
Yeah,
This is big.
I'm very proud of her.
Yep, yep. So, congratulations to Rachel and we will miss her. So that position is open. We are, working on an advertisement. That's 5 hours a week for $16.11 per hour. So, we'll be working on getting that advertisement out. Okay, number 4, we already talked about the withdrawal Forefront Power Nickerson Road project. And I mailed the check back to them for their escrow funds. Number 5, Ethics Board Town Appointment. This is a joint, ethics board between the town and village. The, village appoints 2 people, the town appoints 2 people, and then we have one position where both town and village agree on a person. For the town appointment opening, Dave Nelson has offered to serve on the ethics board for us. Dave Nelson did serve on the town board for a short time. So, is there a motion to appoint Dave Nelson to the ethics board for the town, position?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Jim Smith, is there a second?
Sure, second.
Okay, any further questions? All right, the other thing is, so we still have the town village opening, so that'll be on the joint meeting agenda. And hopefully we'll be able to fill that seat as well. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
carried. Okay, Rensselaer Falls construction requests. Stephen, I'm gonna ask you to speak to that.
They requested they wanna put in a pickleball and basketball court. They would just like us to, dig out the sod and sub base it back for them, and they're having a private contractor come in and do the paving of it, so. That's, would be just a quick one day thing we can move and get in and out.
So the total, you put together some figures, it was $3,779.15
Mhm.
as an estimate.
Yep.
So as the process is, the Reservoir Falls requests the work. Steven sends them the estimates, and it's my understanding that the Reservoir Falls Village Board also approved this.
Yep.
Okay, so then once the town board, approves it, then I type up an MOU, and then we sign an MOU for payment. So is there a motion to approve this, construction request?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further questions, concerns? All in favor, say
Are
aye.
they putting it in by their playground or where's it? going?
Correct, yeah, they took the one, the basketball court out by the municipal building.
Cause they're adding on there,
Or they've
right?
got a grant to do their expansion, so they're moving it over at the playground to have everything basically central location.
Okay. We already talked about and approved number 7, the Minor Street Road reduction request. Number 8. So the solar intervenor funds. The process is, we've been approved, Bill applied for us and we've been approved for a certain amount of money for, I was gonna say medical, legal and, legal and engineering services. What that system is a reimbursement system. We put in our first quarterly report and request for funds to pay the vendors, which is, Gus Eric and, Barton and LaJudas and Bill Buchanan. October 13th, we put in the first request. Well, we just got the first, check. I had to call again and say, can you tell us where that is? Because our vendors, need to be, paid. So we just received the first check for the third quarter report that we put in, for $3,687.50. So, now we're waiting for fourth quarter reimbursement and first quarter of 2024. So, you know, there's been close to, I would say, about $80,000 that has, been billed to us. But we haven't paid those yet. So once we get the reimbursement, then we have to set up systems, and I am asking the board to approve, so I don't commingle the solar escrow, the solar phase 2 escrow. I don't wanna commingle. It's too much, so I'm asking for approval to set up a separate bank account so that the intervenor funds can be all processed through that. It's a lot to keep track of, and, hopefully the flow is gonna start going now, and then we'll go from there. So I'm asking for a motion to approve for me to set up a separate bank account just for the intervenor account.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or concerns? And so this is another thing, because of solar, that we need to set up systems, and we'll work with you and Danielle on the line items of revenue, but we'll deposit the check tomorrow and get that
Okay.
set up. So, all in favor, say aye. Aye, carried. Okay, the one item I didn't add, but, is the joint meeting, for June 26th is at 6 PM. So, that's that. Okay, well, with that being said, we do need to go into executive session for purposes of history of a corporation. I need a motion,
So move.
a second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye. Aye, carried. Okay, let's take a little break here.